Hello everyone, Republic Jim here. I'm just taking advantage of this gorgeous sunny Sunday afternoon to get out for a relaxing ruck on the property, getting a little bit of exercise, and along with my buddy Jasper. And as you can see from the title of the video, I just wanted to kind of give a recap of the 10,000 kettlebell swing challenge that I just completed recently, and also talk about what's next for my training. Come on, Jasper. So first off, for anybody that is not aware of the 10,000 swing challenge, is from an article originally that appeared on T-Nation that Coach Dan John wrote, and he's since revised it, but I did the original one, and basically it's 500 swings per session along with other accessory movements mixed in between sets of swings. And I did over the span of 5 weeks with 4 sessions per week of 500 swings each. And like for my accessory movements, I had things like pull-ups and dips and squats and overhead press. And over the course of the challenge, Jasper, I tried to boost up the difficulty each week. I started out with a 50-pound kettlebell, in quotes, because it was actually my homemade T-bar with plates loaded on it, but started out with 50 pounds, and then after a couple of weeks I boosted it up to 60, and I stayed with 60 through the end of the 10,000 swings. And then as far as the other movements, again, I tried to boost the intensity, add a little bit of weight each week, or go with a harder variation. Finished up with some really brutal ones. So my overall impression, which I've done it before, so I knew what to expect, but it gets really boring and repetitive very quickly, and it's harder and harder to get motivated to get into the gym and get it done. I really struggled with the discipline to do that, but I still ended up getting it done. I just had to force myself to get out there and get those swings in. And generally, once I got into the gym and started doing the swings, then it got easier just to stick with it and complete all 500, and then I always felt better about getting it done. But it was just that initial dread of going and doing it again that gets harder and harder as it goes on. But as I said, I'm glad I got it done, happy that I stuck with it. A few things that I've noticed as results. I don't know if I've actually lost any weight because I haven't even bothered to weigh myself lately. So I was eating like a horse anyway, so weight loss was not my goal thing. I might have lost some just because of the intensity and the amount of caloric output to do that. But like I said, I don't know. But what I do know is that I've gotten a little bit better definition just in the last month, and seeing a little bit more of my abs than I was when I started. I'm also slightly more vascular on my arms. Doesn't take much to work to see the bicep vein popping out now, and my forearms are getting more veins visible on them. So I figure that is a sign that I've been burning off some fat and working at getting just a little more muscle tone. What are you doing, Jasper? And also, I've noticed that my grip has improved a fair amount just in the last month. I had a reasonable grip already, but the challenge of holding onto that kettlebell for 500 swings and continuing to try and do it with a good hard ballistic movement, you know, it really challenges the grip. And then especially on the sessions where I was doing other things that also were grip intensive, like pull-ups, it was extremely tough. In fact, the last session I did, I was doing rope pull-ups, double rope pull-ups, you know, grabbing a rope in either hand and pulling myself up. And I only managed to make it 60% of the way through the workout doing that, and then my forearms were just blowing up. Jasper. So then I had to switch to doing ring chin-ups for the remainder. Nope, sorry about that. Jasper's getting it tangled up here. Anyway, switched to ring chin-ups for the other 40% of that session, but definitely just an ongoing challenge on the grip, and by doing it 4 days a week, it gave me just enough time to recover. On the days where I did 2 consecutive days, it was very challenging on that second one, but I always tried to allow myself some recovery time. But by the time I finished that up, though, I noticed that I definitely do have more grip endurance. I don't know if it's any stronger as far as maximal. Jasper, get out of there. But the other day at work, I hauled a couple of 50-pound weights across the parking lot, and just like a farmer's carry. And like a little over a year ago, I think it was, I had done the same thing, and by the time I got all the way across the parking lot and over to the outside of the building where my office is, I was just dying, and I had to set the things down. But this time when I did it, I walked across without any problem. I had to set one of them down briefly to open the door and then shut it again. But then I picked them up and walked down the hall, stopped and had a brief chat with a coworker while I was still holding the weights, and then walked down the stairs to my office and set them down at that point, and realized I could have continued to carry them for a little while longer. My grip was still doing okay. So that was a very obvious improvement there on the grip endurance. So that's really one of the main things that I've noticed. Other than that, by the time I got done, my hamstrings felt like just bands of steel, especially when I would bend over and stretch them. They're getting very stiff, but also I think they're improving on strength and endurance quite a bit. We'll see how that helps out when I get back to doing deadlifting. But it's certainly not going to hurt my efforts on that. And some of the accessory lifts I did during the course of that. The over Jasper, the overhead press and squats and such, you know, they always have carryover, of course, because you know, that's kind of you know, the meat and potatoes, those big compound lifts. So since I was doing lower reps on those in between kettlebell swings, then I was trying to go relatively heavy. Okay, dude, come here. All right. And like for instance, one of the days that I did the press, I actually did push presses and loaded it up, not maximal, but a fairly high percentage of my 1 rep max. And you know, then in between swings, doing either 1, 2, or 3 reps of that was a very brutal workout. And then I also did one where I did moderately heavy squats and did them all as pause squats at full depth, and paused briefly at the bottom of it. And then on the final rep that I did at the end of my workout, I actually held the pause for a couple of seconds in the hole before I stood up. And that was definitely a grind standing up again, but I got it. So anyway, I think it was worthwhile doing the 10,000 swing challenge. I think I'm definitely seeing some benefits from it. So now that I'm thankfully done with that, I'm ready to move on to other stuff. And since I'm easily bored, that's a good thing. But what I'm intending to do for this next little block is primarily moving with weights. So I'm going to be doing carries and of all different variants, and pushes and pulls, you know, sled drags, wheelbarrow, anything like that. I will be doing some high rep squats and probably some heavy kettlebell work now and then. Or I do have a few Tabata sessions scheduled where I'll be using either a lighter kettlebell or a stationary bike and just doing high intensity intervals just as a way to finish up my workout. But the bulk of my workouts for the next few weeks are going to just involve moving under load. Some of that I might be like going out on the road or around the property hauling weights, kind of like with my packs and stuff today. And you know, other times I'll be in the barn and just doing shorter distances, extremely heavy, but I'll mix it up quite a bit. Probably even break out the ladder and carry weights up and down the ladder occasionally, which is a great workout for the grip and for the legs. But that's what I have in the near future. Then after that, I'll be getting back into doing more high rep squats and hopefully getting out and doing some road work, either running or bike riding. It'll depend on how my toe is feeling, whether I'm able to run, but if not, I want to at least get my bike out on the road or on the trails and do a lot more of that. Work on improving my cardio and just continue to do those high rep squat sessions, whether I'm doing light ones for a ridiculous amount of reps or going heavier and seeing how many I can get before it kills me off, you know. But anyway, that's kind of what's in the near future. We'll see how it goes, and I'll probably be posting a few workout videos as I go along. So anyhow, that's all for now. This has been Republic Jim. I'll talk to you later. And Jasper says he wants to go home and get some water. So talk to you later.